So welcome into this episode of In a Matter of Minutes, where we share a proven and actionable process that you can apply to your practice right now. This is an interesting one. I'm sort of excited to share some ideas here with you that I think we would say are timely based on things that are going on in our country. But what I can share with you is that I think that these things are going on no matter what the time is, no matter what the situation in the country is, and really illuminate an opportunity for advisors to make meaningful connections with their clients. Perhaps a lot of you saw the recent article in Financial Advisor IQ that talked about, well, the title was "Close to Half of Financial Advisors Are Worried About Client Defections in 2020." And before I even get into the article with you, and before I even read it, I really started to connect the dots in my mind, as I'm sure that you can. A lot of things going on here in 2020 in our business and having a lot of effect on advisors and clients and relationships and so many things just in everyday life for so many people that you could start to understand what the statistics are I'm going to share with you. But here's what I thought was really interesting. I remember an article that I had taken out on the road with me in 2013. Riskalyze had put a study together, and this was from the other side. And it was 1,500 clients. And the title of this particular article and survey was 5 Reasons Clients Fire Their Advisors and What You Can Do About It. Now think, we're going to talk about advisor or client defections that advisors are realizing in 2020. Pandemic, job losses, all the things that are going on. But it was happening in 2013. And if you don't remember right off the top of your head, 2013 was a good year in the market. S&P 500 was up over 28% calendar year 2013. Things were rolling along. Relationships must have been good, and yet the defections existed. And it's funny because the top 5 reasons that clients quoted, well, you probably could figure out 5, 4, 3. Advisor's investment performance was poor. 44%, number 3, said my advisor failed to return my phone calls promptly, and so it went. But number 1, in 2013, number 1 reason that clients said I fired my advisor was 72%. My advisor failed to communicate with me at all. Now we come to 2020. And everything that's going on. We're going to contrast a really, really good year in the market with a really, really bad year, not necessarily in the market, but in life in general. And so many clients are a little freaked out. And it was really interesting to compare these two. There's a foundational issue here that connects to a foundational opportunity. And that is, if we can't communicate meaningfully in times of plenty, then when it gets tough, it really challenges the communications. And so let's talk about the opportunity here and some of the things that we do in the protocol division of USA Financial. You know, this article, the current one from Financial Advisor IQ, starts out with saying, hey, the advisors that are digitally able, the advisors that have made the transition and now are doing virtual meetings, Zoom, Teams, whatever it might be, have realized that they have overcome or are overcoming what a lot of advisors are saying. Where are the new relationships coming from? Where are the leads coming from? And we're going to touch back on that in a minute. And indeed, if you're a person like so many of us in the business, workshops, seminars, in-person communication, that's your strength. I get it. And that's really dead in the water right now. We've had so many advisors share with us, and the article talks about it. Hey, where are the new leads coming from? Well, the advisors that are focusing on digital and get connected with us at USA Financial, the virtual fill the room and virtual communications, we can help with that. That's making a difference. This article goes on to say, though, and it was 40% that responded and said, hey, we're doing the digital stuff. The leads are coming up. The relationships, the new relationships are there, and we're making progress. So then it goes on to talk about what's happening here with why are we losing, why are we losing clients? And in fact, the advisors really sort of are throwing their hands up. The first quote, traditional advisors are apparently running into difficulties. 37% of such advisors are worried they'll lose clients because of a lack of communication. I scratch my head. Lack of communication, why? Are we sitting back waiting for the clients to contact us? If we can't, there's only so many conversations to have around the market month after month after month. Here is what I call a human nature component. And I first identified this, and all the consulting and coaching work that we've done in the protocol division, I first identified this human nature component around the Riskalyze study. And I thought, man, things are good. 72% of clients surveyed then said, my advisor's not communicating with me at all. The human nature component says there's only one birthday a year. There are only so many, there's one review meeting or strategy and tactical meeting per year, maybe two. There's only so many reviews I can give on the market and so forth. I think what happened here, and as we've started to communicate with clients in the years since, advisors simply ran out of things to talk about that were meaningful. It gets a little odd sometimes to pick up the phone if I don't really have anything to say. If we had a process that was a focus away from products, pricing, and performance to one of a philosophy, a planning strategy, and a process that was focused on family issues, occupational issues, recreational bucket list type things, and those conversations are ongoing. So it's curious to me that the advisors are saying, well, the communications are just stopping. It goes on to say, in addition to the traditional, 52% of traditional advisors are worried about clients dropping them during the pandemic. And again, my question is, why? Why are you getting worried about being dropped? I can't imagine that a client that is in constant communication with their advisor is just all of a sudden going to say, hey, no more communication from you, no more phone calls, stop checking in, I'm dropping you. It's interesting that half of the advisors surveyed here said, I'm worried. Well, we think that that's an issue, but there's a gigantic opportunity gap. 48% of all advisors are worried about their client defections this year. Over a third of respondents are very concerned about shedding clients, say they're finding it hard to maintain regular contact. I think that also provides an opportunity. I get it that the first couple of times you do virtual communications, a little clunky for you. It might be a little clunky for clients, but what we're hearing from advisors and from clients is I'm getting used to it. I like the connection. I like being able to see you and have a meeting. Maybe I don't need to drive all the way across town and get all ready and do that type of thing. So there's an opportunity here. And I'll tell you something. I believe that in-person communications are going to come back. I believe it. But if we make the assumption that the world and our industry and our business are going to go back to exactly the way things were, it's naive. It's a mistake. It's a missed opportunity. Clients are getting comfortable with virtual. You need to get comfortable with virtual. We can help with that. And then the last thing is there's a real issue with being concerned about standing out from the competition. Fantastic. At USA Financial, what we focus on is helping our advisors create professional contrast. And I can tell you, I'll line up the advisors for you to communicate with. We have advisors since March of 2020, successful, skilled, highly referable advisors telling us that they have been more referable and received more high quality introductions from current clients than ever before. We've actually had one of our best advisors, 37 years in the business, really skilled advisor, skilled team, say that he's now reprinted his business card. And it says on the back, appointment by introduction only. His words, 2 years ago, we had our best year ever. Last year in 2019, topped that, our best year ever. 2020, on the way to our best year ever. It sounds a little bit of a contradiction to what some of the things are being said in the articles about clients are leaving and all of this kind of thing. And he's told us that the meaningful conversations that he's had with his clients resonate deeply. And so listen, if you've participated with us, you know this. If you haven't yet, give us a call. Your brand, your process, your ability to communicate everything that you do very simply, all of the things that you can offer to clients, many of which aren't relevant right now. But you know that as things change, as all this goes on, that they're going to become relevant. You provide that. More importantly, we teach our advisors to have this conversation. Your foundational approach, right now especially, is a focus on what matters most to your clients. And you know what that is? Those are issues around family, maybe legacy or succession issues. Occupation. There's a lot of occupation in this country that's up for grabs right now, isn't there? Our advisors will say, you know what? We have many clients that have the retirement date written right down on their calendar. Some have been forced out. Some have been told they're going to work longer. Others wanted to try to achieve a work optional lifestyle. That's up for grabs. So that's what's important to our clients. We talk about it. the recreational bucket list, all the things that your clients want to get to. Those are the whys around financial planning. And then, more importantly, and what we know has gotten a lot of introductions, is the focus on what we can control. We hear from clients over and over and over, the big thing about COVID or pandemic or any time in history, any season of life, are the things that clients feel are out of their control. And when COVID is in the rearview mirror, and it's going to be at some point, we know that clients are still going to say to their advisor, I'm a little freaked out about some things that are out of my control. So we talk to our advisors about communicating this, especially now, a meaningful contact to say, listen, we never lose sight of what matters. We're focused on what matters most to you and what we can control. And that's not products, pricing, and performance. And it's not COVID, but what it is, it's an enlightened philosophy around all things financial, everything that's happening to you, wealth management, risk management, all of our services. It's a planning strategy that remains fluid and dynamic. Think of everything that's going on in people's lives. This is a different time. So as things change, our planning strategy changes along with it. And finally, our proprietary process that takes all those pieces and puts them in place. Now I'll go back to the human nature component. And here's what I think has happened. You know, as advisors, we provide answers and we paint the direction and the path forward. We work with our clients, and history tells us a lot of things. All of the experience you have, you've been through so many things before that you can communicate now. Well, you know what? In 2020, there isn't a book. There's not a manual. We've not been through this before. Yes, the markets have done what it's done in 2020. Got blasted. It's back. But people are out of work. People are in food lines. Businesses are closing maybe forever. Small businesses, large businesses. As an advisor, there's not a track to run on there. And so I think what's happening is many advisors simply don't know what to say and are making the mistake of not communicating at all. If you're wondering about that, get in touch with us. Let's talk about your process. Let's talk about how you communicate that process right now. Listen, it was good. We've been doing this for over 10 years. The idea of process was fantastic in 2013 when the S&P was up 28%. It's unbelievable its value right now in 2020. And here's what we're finding out. Listen, if you can connect with a client and give them a sense of peace and calm about their future, things to smile about and to be comfortable about right now, do you think that they're not going to share that with people that are important to them? Just like they'd share any good experience, a great movie they saw, a fantastic bottle of wine, the new golf course, whatever it is. If I'm having a good time, if I feel good, don't I share those things with people that are close to me? It's the same thing now. We've also heard from advisors that say, you know what? I knew that my client had monies all over the place. She had a few advisors. We weren't getting all the business. We have heard over and over and over the stories of how those clients have now consolidated with their advisor that's working with us, talking about process. Why? Because they're saying, I haven't heard from my advisor at all right now. Makes me nervous. And when I do, there's not really a meaningful communication. It's the same stuff over and over and over. I was impressed by my advisor who has a sense of peace and calm about the future. And listen, none of this is winging it. If you haven't participated with us, everything that we talk about in the coaching and consulting division, scripted out. There's a meaningful way to communicate. We just don't suggest this idea in a matter of minutes video and say, good luck to you. Every piece is accounted for. It's part of our process. So it doesn't make any difference if it's 2013 and the markets are flying, or 2020 and we have a national crisis on our hands. What works, and we know it, is meaningful communications with your clients. Let us help you provide those communications so that you can stay in touch. Get in touch with us to learn how to be effective with a virtual delivery. It is going to be a significant part of our future and would be a great opportunity. So anyway, thanks for jumping in with me. And until we meet again and have the next discussion, stay grateful for the relationships you have and every day that you have in this business, and make the minutes matter.